Hi guys, GeoPaul here. Well, I'm a relative newbie still to the magnet fishing world. Probably been out, must be 10 or 11 times. Found some decent stuff, money boxes, scooters. Nothing of real, like, wow. No treasure chests full of gold just yet. In this video, I will show you my essentials list of what I will take out on a normal day magnet fishing. So come on, let me show you. So this is everything all together. Now we're going to start off with a bucket. It's the main thing that I take with me. That way I can carry all of this stuff in one place. I haven't got things in my pockets and carrying over my shoulder or whatever. Now I noticed quite a lot of the really professional magnet fishing men, they have like a proper fishing kit, like a fishing box and like, a bit like a tackle box that they keep all their stuff in. I'm not that professional at the moment, so a bucket is good enough for me. Okay. Well, of course we need a magnet to go magnet fishing. Either that or you won't find anything, you'll just be throwing rope into a river. This is a magnet I bought for £25 off of Amazon. It's meant to pull anything up to 300 kg. That was what was advertised. Unfortunately, I don't think it pulls anywhere near that. I think it pulls more like 100 kg, and because it's a double-sided magnet, you halve that, so that's 50 and 50. I suggest, as a starter magnet, yeah, okay, Amazon's a good place to look. If you want a proper pull-in magnet, I suggest going to Magnet Store or Online Magnets. I'll leave the website link in the description of this video. But this is a very good starter magnet. As you can tell, it's been well used, scratched to pieces. It's flaming heavy. As a starter magnet, very good. But if you want to pull up some decent heavy stuff, I suggest you invest in it a bit more. Okay, moving on to the next thing. Obviously, on the end of the magnet, you're going to want to be able to pull it back in, and that's where the rope obviously comes into play. Now, I have got really hardy rope. It does look a little bit wet at the moment. I was out this morning magnet fishing. I've used a tube, which I am using at the moment as a rope tidy. It has got plenty of pull in this. When I bought it, it said it had a hell of a lot of pull. I can't remember the actual figures that it said it could pull, but I remember at the time thinking, wow, I don't need that much. I've probably got a bit too much rope here, if I'm honest. The normal sort of size canals, I could probably throw the magnet over and over again, and it would still have rope left. I would say anything up to 15 metres to 20 metres of rope is probably enough. Here, I have 100 metres. Yeah, I don't know why I've got so much. I'd rather have more than less. I have done a fairly decent size knot just in there. I believe it's called a Palomar knot. I could be saying that totally wrong. It's working really well since doing it. It hasn't come loose or anything like that. I've redone it up with a bit of Gorilla tape. I like to do a couple of red lines, only for the fact that I know when it's getting near the surface. I know it sounds a silly thing to say, but that's just a little quirk of mine. We've got the carabiner clip just here. Now, this came with the magnet, and it's one that I suggest. I don't suggest getting carabiners that don't have a lock system on it. This way, it doesn't get snagged and you won't lose your magnet. This I would recommend, not the usual ones that just spring open. These ones, the ones with the screw-on lock. That way you will not lose your magnet. Moving on to the next thing, we have got a grappling hook with some pretty decent sort of rope with it. The rope came with the magnet, and so did that. I kind of bought it as a kit. It is very sharp, the grappling hook, but at the moment I haven't had a proper chance to use it. I did try and use it to try and lift a roadside cone out of the water, because I was going to be productive and take it out of the water and be good to nature, blah de blah. Unfortunately, it was absolutely rubbish. As you can see, there isn't much of an angle. They kind of go down and flat, so it just slipped off every time. And when I did get it on, it would pring off, and at one point nearly hit me in the side of the head. Is it worth having it? It's definitely worth having it if you have things like you're pulling up a push bike from the canal or river, and it's quite good to get into. But apart from that, I don't really know what else you will use it for. I'm happy with it. I'm happy I've got it in my kit, and I take it with me every time I go, because you never know when it's needed. But there is better ones out there. I wouldn't buy one off Amazon, I would buy a proper one from one of the stores, as I say, that I've linked down in the description below. They have proper, what look like, almost like climbing grappling hooks, and they will probably be much better. Unfortunately, this is good, but at the same time could be better. Moving on to this, we have got the scraper. Now, my scraper that I did have, which was plastic, and which is what I recommend you have, a plastic one, not a metal one, I lost today, which is typical. So I'm using one that that isn't what I use. But it's a rough idea to show you. I use a plastic version of this. If you use a metal version of this, you're going to risk scraping all of your the face of your magnet off. This gets all the sort of dirty old rust, bit of silt, mud. You can scrape off anything off the magnet that you don't want. I recommend you get one of these, but I recommend you get a plastic version. Next up, gloves. And as you can see, these are what I took on my adventures magnet fishing this morning. It's still got some of the wet mud from it. It hasn't dried fully yet. These are Tesco's washing up gloves. They are the tough version. They are £2.50 and they've worked very well for me so far. And they are they're a bit tight. They're on the larger size, but they are working really well. I'm very happy with them. The other gloves you can take, and I'm not sure the right name for these gloves. I call them plumber's gloves, and they are very handy. They're a bit big, but I wanted them big because I'm thinking in the winter time when the water's cold, and especially like early hours of this morning, I was throwing my magnet into the river and bringing it up, and it was making my hands very, very cold when these got wet. So what I do is I put my hands in these and then plonk these on top. And these are really good. They keep your hands dry, and if you double it up, they keep your hands warm. Now, again, going on about my what I got free with my magnet set when I bought it off Amazon, these gloves came with it. I don't recommend these gloves. They are very flimsy, and they get wet just along the top, and your hands are soaked. When you're pulling the rope back in, water and everything goes on your hands. These are not ideal. They are just not good for the job. I more recommend washing up gloves or plumber's gloves, or you can find online sharps gloves, so nothing sticks into your hands. But I do recommend wearing gloves, because when you pull out some of the stuff that you'll find in the rivers, canals, lakes, it's been in there a while, it goes rusty, and you don't want to have to go to the doctors or the hospital because you've gone and pulled some metal rusty old thing through your hand. So I really recommend that you wear gloves. That is a must. The other tips that I could add with this is go out there and have fun. You could go out there for hours on end and not find anything, but if you were to find something every time you went out there, it would get a bit boring. It's nice to have a bit of variety, I must admit. The other thing I want to say is about safety. If your magnet gets caught in a canal, in a river, in a lake, please, as much as it'd be annoying to lose a magnet, don't put yourself or your family or your loved ones at risk. If your magnet gets stuck, yes, it'd be a pain in the backside. And to be honest with you, if you spent a lot of money on the magnet, I'd be quite upset. But 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pound for a magnet all your life, let's be frank. So when you go out there, please be safe. Please watch what you're pulling out. Always look at your magnet before you pull anything off, because you never know what's attached to it. There is a risk of danger, obviously, of doing this. But as I said, be safe. Don't go into rivers. You never know what sort of current or how deep the mud silt is. If you get stuck in that, then just for a 50, 60 pound magnet, is it really worth it, risking your life? But apart from that, go out there, enjoy yourself. It is really fun. There is days where I've been there and unfortunately I don't have canals around my way, but I've been out all day and found 2 or 3 nails. And then there's some days, like this morning, I found a money box. Okay, didn't have any money in it, or gold, or jewellery, but it was a money box. It was a bit of fun. And I managed to help, I suppose, Mother Nature by pulling it out of the water and recycling it responsibly. Also, the last thing, talking about recycling responsibly, if you do go magnet fishing, please, please, please take your scrap, your junk, your treasure, whatever you want to call it, take it and deal with it responsibly. You can take it to your local scrap yard, your local scrap men. You can even contact your local scrap man if you want them to come collect it. Or you could take it down the tip, or you could recycle it at home, or you could upcycle it if it's something really good that you've caught. Why not make it brand new again and sell it on for a profit, you know? Good, yeah, get it, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this tip video. There's obviously going to be more tips out there. The more professional magnet fishermen are probably going, oh, I wouldn't do that, or I would do this, or I wouldn't do that. These are what I take with me. There is probably more tips out there, but they're what I would say is the main tips and tricks of what to take. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. If you are a magnet fisher already and if you think I've missed something, or you think, oh, that's a good idea, I didn't think of that, leave a comment. Especially if you're a magnet fisherman, and if you think I've missed something and you think newbies should know about it, feel free to leave it in the comments section of what you take and what I missed. And that way we can all help the newbies all together. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. There's nothing else to say apart from catch you next time.